Hi there everyone, it's Cassie. I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to my YouTube channel for another video. Today I'm going to be sharing this stamp set with you. This is called the Embroidery Flowers by Spellbinders. They sent this to me. This is from their Cardmaker 2 collection, and we are going to do some kind of transition or ombre stamping, if you will. I have a slimline panel in my MISTI, and that measures 3.5 inches by 8.5 inches, so it fits in my MISTI just perfectly. And for what we're doing here today, you would need some bit of a stamp positioning tool, something similar to that, like a MISTI or something else. So what we're going to do is I have packed those stamps pretty tightly at the top, started up there, and I've brought in my first color. These are some Simon Hurley Create inks. That first color is Love Struck. I inked it up on the stamp just at the very top and then brought in a microfiber cloth to soften the edges. I'm going to bring in another color. I'm not even cleaning off my stamp because it's just not enough there to clean up. And that next color is called Guppy. So I've stamped that kind of slightly down, and I'm going to pounce my microfiber cloth on the edges to soften those edges a little bit. And wherever those colors overlap, they will mix, which is kind of cool. Our next color that we're bringing in is Shooting Star. It's a nice bright yellow. And so we'll do that same process with the microfiber cloth. And again, wherever that overlaps, that is going to give you a different color. Now we're sort of at the bottom, so I'm going to need these stamps because I took all of the solid stamps from this set and I put those in there. So I need to start moving these down my piece. So I am just kind of positioning them on the door, bringing them down, kind of doing it nice and tight packed, and we're going to continue that process, leaving the couple of stamps that I need, to do this transition stamping. So I'll leave those at the top. That next color I brought in is called Overzealous, and we pounced our microfiber cloth on there. And then we'll stamp this down as well. Got to move my magnet, but I'm looking and I'm realizing in some of those areas that maybe it didn't cover, but I'm actually okay with that. There's enough color there. So the next color I bring in is Tropical Tango. Pounce, pounce, pounce. And then we'll stamp that down. And I did get some of that color up a little bit higher, but that's okay. I'm really liking how this is coming along. And we're at the end again, so now I need to bring down some of those stamps just to fill in the gaps here at the bottom. And again, being very tight to try and make sure that those are all going to fit. And once I've got that done, I'm going to bring in the next color, which is called Remember Me. It's a little bit darker blue. So this way we've got a rainbow coming down and it transitions really, really nicely. And so I will have to move some more stamps down. So that's what we're going to do. Get those in there nice and tight. And then we'll ink this up with some Triple Berry. And there will be a little bit of a gap, so I'm going to just take one of my random stamps and stamp that down at the bottom as well. I didn't get a very good job here, so, looking through the MISTI door, I can always tell if it's going to transition well. All right, so I did stamp one more at the very bottom, and now we've got our really cool panel. It's all rainbow. It's very stark white, and that's okay with me, but I want to bring in this next color, which is called GRRR. It's a light brown, and I'm blending that just on the edges, and not all the edges, just the edges where I've stamped. So it'll kind of age it a little bit, kind of give it a vintage look. And with the Embroidery Flowers by Spellbinders, I think it's a really nice look. So it'll even kind of soften those colors just a little bit, kind of age it. And then I'm looking at this and I really feel like I can't stop there. But before I go on, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So my sentiment comes from that Embroidery Flowers, and it says, "You are awesome." I'm going to emboss this, so I need a magic powder bag. I'm going to ink that up with some juicy embossing ink, stamp that onto that blue cardstock that I have, and then cover that with some alabaster embossing powder. And then I'm going to heat set that till that is smooth and melted, and you'll know because it'll go from a matte finish to a shiny finish. You can see it happening there. I'll clean up my mess, and then I'll wipe away that microfiber cloth, or with the microfiber cloth, the leftover residue from the magic powder bag. I'm going to now do some splatter. This is where I decide I have to do some splatter. So I brought in some liquid pixie dust by Ink on 3. I've got my little paintbrush holder, which works perfectly for splatter. I'm going to put some of the liquid pixie dust on one petal, and then we're going to use some black soot distress paint on another petal. And then I'll bring in my paintbrush and we'll splatter, splatter, splatter that liquid pixie dust. And then I'm going to clean off my brush just a little bit and we'll splatter in that black soot distress paint. And it's nice and fine, and I actually think that that black splatter took it over the top. Love it. Love it, love it. So I need to let that dry for a few seconds. So while I'm letting that dry, I'm going to cut out my sentiment. So I'm just putting this into my guillotine trimmer. I'll trim that down, and I decide I want to put a little bit of an angle on the one edge. So we'll cut that down. And so now we'll bring in our card base, which our card base measures 7 inches by 8.5 inches, which means we'll score that at 3.5 inches. Just using my score buddy. And then I'll put a little bit of foam tape behind my sentiment, which you don't see me do it, but I do put a little bit of foam tape behind that. And then I'm going to line this up on my glass mat, peel off the release paper on the back of our sentiment, and just line that up. And then once that's on there, I can flip this over and trim off the excess. And then we'll attach down our panel to our card base using some liquid glue. That'll give you a little bit of wiggle room. And once that's on there, that is it. That's going to finish off our card for today. I will have a corresponding blog post, which I'm going to have linked down below in the description box if you would like to go check that out. But there it is. I'm so happy with how this turned out. If you liked this video, please be sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, I'll see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.